Hello and welcome to What the F*** Just Happened Today, your essential guide to the daily shock and awe in national politics. I'm Joe Amditis. Let's get to it. It's Friday, September 3rd, 2021. Welcome to day 227. Senator Joe Manchin demanded that Democrats pause on advancing Biden's $3.5 trillion tax and spending package, saying that a significantly smaller plan is needed because of rising inflation, soaring federal debt, and the coronavirus pandemic. Manchin, the linchpin vote in the evenly divided Senate, said he won't agree to the $3.5 trillion plan or anywhere near that level of additional spending without fully assessing the effects on the economy. Manchin said instead of rushing to spend trillions on new government programs and additional stimulus funding, Congress should hit a strategic pause on the budget reconciliation legislation. Leaders in the House have already set a September 15th deadline for their reconciliation bill, with a vote planned before the end of September. Speaker Nancy Pelosi, however, agreed to hold a vote on Biden's roughly $1 trillion infrastructure plan by September 27th. House liberals, however, have warned that they won't support the $1 trillion bipartisan infrastructure bill unless the Senate first approves the $3.5 trillion reconciliation proposal. Meanwhile, the acting commissioner of the FDA and the CDC director asked the White House to scale back the COVID-19 vaccine booster shot plan for the Moderna and Johnson Johnson vaccines. The FDA said it needed more time to collect and review all the necessary data on safety and efficacy. The Pfizer process, however, remains on track, but may need to be limited to high-risk groups, such as nursing home residents, healthcare workers, and people over the age of 65. Last month, the Biden administration recommended that people who had been vaccinated for at least 8 months should get a booster shot starting on September 20th. Moving on, the House and Senate Judiciary committees plan to hold hearings to examine Texas's new 6-week abortion ban and the Supreme Court procedure that allowed it to take effect this week. The hearing will examine the Supreme Court's use of the so-called shadow docket, a controversial, expedited process for emergency actions taken by the court that often result in late-night decisions issued with minimal or no written opinions. On Wednesday, the court ruled 5-4 to leave in place the Texas law that bars most abortions in the state. There were no oral arguments before the justices, and the majority opinion was unsigned in a single paragraph. Chief Justice John Roberts joined the court's 3 liberal justices in dissent. Biden, meanwhile, denounced Texas's new abortion law, calling it almost un-American, and saying that the ban creates a vigilante system because it empowers private citizens to police the ban. The House plans to take up the Women's Health Protection Act when lawmakers return on September 20th, which would establish the legal right to abortion nationwide and prevent states from putting medically unnecessary restrictions on the procedures. The bill, however, faces steep odds of passage in the Senate. Moving on, Joe Biden ordered the declassification and release of documents related to the terrorist attacks on September 11, 2001. The executive order directs the Justice Department and other agencies to review classified documents related to the FBI's investigations and sets specific timelines for their public declassified release over the next 6 months. Some material will be released as early as next week's 20th anniversary of the attacks. And finally, the economy added 235,000 jobs in August, weaker than expected growth. The economy added roughly 1 million jobs in both June and July. Meanwhile, the unemployment rate dropped to 5.2% from 5.4%, and Biden called the economic recovery strong but blamed the impact of the Delta variant for the sluggish growth in U.S. jobs. And in the polls, the Washington Post says 77% of Americans support Biden's decision to end the war in Afghanistan, but 52% say they disapprove of the way the withdrawal was handled. 26% say they support the way the withdrawal was handled. And ABC News says 44% of Americans approve of the job that Biden is doing as president, while 51% disapprove. In late June, 50% approved, while 42% disapproved. Only Trump and Ford had lower approval ratings at this point in their terms since the Truman administration. That's all for now. You can find the links and sources for all of these stories on the main website. And as always, visit whatthefjusthappenedtoday.com for the latest news and headlines. Until next time, I'm Joe Amditis.